This is the Suunto Race 2 and I'm going to dive into all things navigation. You've seen the DC Rainmaker review and the Chaser Summit review. This is going to be a bit different for you hikers and runners, people who are going to be using the GPX, compass, weather settings, and people who love to head out into the mountains, explore those trails. Let's dive into it. So this is the Suunto Race 2 and you've just seen here that it's gone into its always on display mode. Now what's really cool when you're navigating with the Suunto watch, look at the brand in there and this lovely strap actually. I am enjoying what they've done with this watch, but you can see already I'm quite close to a point of interest, so that's something that I've created earlier. I believe that's the avalanche point of interest, and you can scroll into your watch to see that a bit closer. And what you can do whilst you're in the maps widget, so currently we're in the maps widget, is if you just use this scroll wheel, so this wheel just to the side, you'll notice, look at that. And there's a nice vibration when you do it, but we're scrolling into the activity. Let's scroll all the way out. Obviously Suunto have increased the processing power in this watch, so you're going to see much quicker loading times, much quicker scrolling. How far we're zooming out as well is really impressive. So we're about to go to 20 kilometers away from my destination, and this is rivaling Garmin, and not many other watches can do this, to be honest. So yeah, to zoom out this far is really cool. But yeah, let's zoom back in, all the way in, and you can see that loading in real time here, just using that scroll wheel on the side. We've got the notifications coming through, my phone's going crazy, and yeah, just showing you the compass speed in this map as well. And don't worry, we will dive into the GPX settings later, but yeah, this is crazy how you can basically see a point of interest, an avalanche, and you've made these in the app, or you can make them on the watch, point your body towards it, and yeah, this compass speed is insane. So right, options we've got. When you go down into the maps options, you've got the option to obviously exit the map. You can look at your locations. This is the coordinates. You can also change the map style, so you've got these different kind of themes that you can use to help with the clarity. So you can switch from light to dark maps. Obviously, for example, Coros are stuck in dark maps and you can't change it at all, so it's nice to have the option here. And you can also put it in high contrast and also winter, so that's a new one for me that I hadn't noticed before. Let's go down. We've got pan and zoom. We've got routes where you can select your GPS routes, and again, I'm just kind of whisking through everything right here. I'm going to dive into everything later in the video where you can kind of see how the maps are, but yeah, these are the routes that I've created, and you can create crazy routes. For example, this one here is a 300-kilometer trip around Norfolk. Just notice I'm using the touch screen here as well, so you can click the points of interest. So I actually wanted to test out if emojis worked on the watch, and they do. So we've got camping tent, and I've used my phone to make this. We've got pot of gold, avalanche, Cameron Hanes, keep hammering. So we've got some elk and also some dolphins. So we're going to play around with these points of interest and navigate to them in this video as well. As I said, just skip through to the parts you want to see. Bearing location is where you can kind of point the direction of your watch in the location that you want to go and hike towards a mountain or something that you've seen. And this ruler, I will quickly show you this now because it's going to be really quick and easy, and it's new to Suunto, or new-ish. What you can do is swipe away from your location and measure distances. So let's zoom out and go a bit crazy with this. So I'm going to navigate to my tent, or my camping tent. So you put the X on the camping tent, and yeah, that's 450 meters away. So this ruler is a very powerful and obviously precise, look how precise you can get if you zoom right in, way of you measuring and orienteering from your current location. And I can get to that really quickly pressing this button, which will take me back to my current location. And what's really crazy with this ruler as well, so when you've scrolled through, so I'm going to scroll, you know, 3 kilometers away from my destination, you can actually add a point. So you can add a ruler point and basically create a course. So if you're into orienteering, where you're piecing together lots of locations, and let's click add ruler point. Look how cool that is, and we're actually making a map, and then we're going to scroll, you know, another 10k away from that destination, and we're going to add another ruler point. So you can see here, if I just zoom out, how quickly you can start creating your own courses. But as I promised, let's actually get into the video and show you how to use your brand new Suunto Race 2. So yeah, what a beautiful watch face. I really love, as a Strava addict, I'm seeing my Strava stats on the actual watch here. But yeah, if I scroll down, obviously what I've just been showing you there, we dive straight into it, but these are all called like your widgets. So this is the home face. You go down to get into your widgets, and again, just noticing that processor speed. We're going to go through to the map, so that's what's here. You click on the map, it's just going to search for my location. I believe it's found it already, so it's really quick with the GPS, like that got it instantly. And yeah, we are stood in the middle of the field, but about to start the trails. So when you're in the map, you've got all of those powerful zoom in features, and you've got the ability, this is just mid activity, you can be, you know, walking around and hiking with your family. Oh, we want to navigate, and you can, yeah, just get your routes this up, navigate to a point of interest, all of this stuff. But let's show you in an activity, because I think that's what most people are going to be using. So that's the map. To start an activity, go back to the watch face, and what you can do, instead of scrolling down, you actually scroll up. So these are the activities where you've got running, soccer, cycling, hiking, trail running. All of these sports are my favorites. The ones that I do more often are closer to the bottom. So you can see the last sport I did was running. We're going to click that. And with Suunto platform, you can see if you've got a good heart rate signal, because that will go green. And you just heard the vibration there as well, the where the arrow goes green, and that means you've got GPS lockdown as well. So let's just scroll through the options before we start officially navigating. So we've got our sport, right, navigation. This is where you can leave it on breadcrumb, so you'll always have the map, but it will show you a kind of red line of the path traveled. Most of you are going to be going to races and doing routes. So these are your GPX files. And yeah, I'm going to be doing the 13 Valleys Ultra Marathon soon. I've done the Spine race, some crazy vlogs, so check them out on the channel. But for today, we're going to do, not Snowdonia, that's what that one is, UTS Suunto. We're going to do the Suunto Race S, because that's closer to where I am now. Once you've selected your route, you can obviously see your route. You can see the distance of the route, the ascent, the descent, the highest point, lowest point, and we've got the date that it was created, I believe. Let's click navigate. So that's what we're doing. You've also got Suunto Plus. Zonesense is what I've really been enjoying. It's basically where you can get laboratory results of your lactate threshold just using a heart rate strap connected to this watch, so really cool. But you've got other stuff you can use, like Backyard Ultra has been really useful for me as someone who likes ultra marathon. You can do a bleep test if you're crazy, a Cooper test if you're even crazier, but there's also more kind of like navigational related ones as well. So you can add like a moon widget, you can add your location, so it's always going to show your location, a sun widget, all of these kind of things. Obviously download them off of the Suunto store on the app, but we'll just leave it on what it is now and select start. So we've just started our activity, and we've got obviously the data page here. So this is our distance that we've done. We're currently off route, and you can see my heart rate as well. What this is here, which is currently blank because I'm stood still filming, is our speed that we're traveling at. The off route notification is very useful, I think. Let's just scroll through. This is where you can see your laps for the activity. We'll go through again the maps, right? So my location, let's scroll in, is currently here, and it's saying off route, and yes, Suunto, we are. So what you'd be doing in your activity, if you've been stupid enough to start a million miles away from your route, is zooming out, I guess, and pointing it towards the start of the route. And I think this is a great opportunity to bring up how powerful the Suunto Compass is. I mean, this is well above its competition in terms of if I move my body around, look at that kind of spin. There's no glitching, no loading, no buffering. I've just done a full 360. And it's really easy, I've found, using this out in the mountains to basically make sure you're going the right way up a mountain and you're not going to fall off some crazy cliff. I do enjoy having this as someone, me personally, not being a super confident navigator, being able to just use the compass on Suunto and get really accurate directional bearings, yeah, I think is fantastic. So let's zoom in, and we're going to start heading off on this direction, yeah, to get to the start of this course that I've created on the Suunto app. So what you'll see as I kind of walk is that Breadcrumb trail is starting to be plotted. So that's that red line there from the middle of the field. Let's just flick the screen back on. There we go. How cool is that strap? It does pop, doesn't it? That orange strap. And again, just showing you some of that navigation with the screen off. It'll be really hard to go into this always on display mode, to be fair, because it's usually when you drop your wrist, this is going to be kind of mode it stays in. But yeah, if you leave your wrist unnaturally flat for a while and film a video like I am now, this is the always on display mapping. The compass is working great, and you can still see tracks and stuff. So yeah, really cool. But yeah, we're getting there. Let's keep on going. As you can see, we're taking a bit of a shortcut here, and we are slowly but surely getting there. You can see where we started this video in the middle of the field. We've headed over to our route now, so we're continuing to navigate, and I think this is really cool. I'm now under shade and under the trees, and you can see this is the always on display mode. And again, it was really easy to see with my eyes, but I think it can be hard to demonstrate over a video. Yeah, this is going to be great. You're going to save lots of battery life, and you're not kind of skimping out on any of the features of navigation. We can quite clearly see the route that we've traveled. We can see the route that we need to follow, the blue line versus the red line. We can quite clearly see north, 400 meters to when we finish. Again, we've got that zoom out. Just show you what route we're doing today. So we've traveled from the field and we've intersected the GPX right here. We're going to be heading left and going into this estate. We've got this dolphin point of interest, which I'll show you in a minute. We're going to do a lap of the lake, hence the point of interest of the dolphin, and we're going to finish right here which is like the end of our destination. As I zoom in closer, obviously this is a messy kind of GPX that I've just kind of made on the Suunto app really quickly so that I can shoot this video basically. So let's keep on heading in the right direction. And you can see as I kind of zoomed out to in, how it kind of cleaned up the interface. I do like that, but when you zoom in and you need a bit more clarity, let's just go to our actual location. Yeah, you can clearly see the direction of the arrows and which way we're turning. And how cool is that? You can see all of these different trails that you could potentially go down for your route. So I've just had the watch vibrate again, and it's telling me to turn in 11 meters. So that's cool with the turn-by-turn navigation. Let's just get a little bit closer and see if it vibrates again. There we go, and it's saying to turn, so that's really useful. I like as well how it highlights. I was just trying to work out, you know, what's going on here, what are we looking at? And it looks like once you've completed a section, it kind of goes back to its normal state, the dark blue, and then you get this new kind of section open up, which is the light blue. So from the turn we've just taken to the turn we're going to, you can see the direction we've got to go, and it's shaded in light blue just to kind of let you know, yeah, a little bit more clearly which way you're going. I don't know if I'm reading too much into that, but I think that's the way it's working. So it's starting to get really dark now, and you can see the difference of the camera quality from my DSLR to the iPhone 15 Pro Max here. And yeah, this race 2, I've really been enjoying it. If you want to see a video about how accurate the heart rate sensor is, and trust me, the heart rate sensor has blown my mind. It's unbelievable. It has beaten Coros, Garmin, Amazfit. It's also obviously beaten the older Suunto, such as Suunto Race 1. But what I found really interesting was the comparison between the Race 2 and also the Race S, where, yeah, the Race 2 blew it out of the water. So yeah, really cool stuff to dive into. Active ideas. Let's jump back into it. Let's just quickly show you the different maps. So this was the light map, but it is getting a bit dark out here. I'm filming quite late, so let's switch it into dark mode. And here we go. This looks very much like Coros now, doesn't it? So really cool that we've got the option to actually come out of this mode. I prefer a light mode. I find the contrast of light mode easier. I don't know if maybe there's some battery saving advantages of having it in dark mode, and that's maybe why Coros have kind of like locked you into it. And do you know what? I want to see it as much as you guys. The winter. We're going to get there though. So this is high contrast. And again, I can remember in the vertical when it first came out, DC Rainmaker, who of course is the absolute OG, he's awesome, great content, but he didn't like this kind of view. And I actually think high contrast is fantastic. It's both powerful on the memory and pixel, but also on AMOLED where you can save battery. But look how high contrast is. I think it's really useful, just if you need to simplify your map, you know, where are the tracks? Oh, they're the dotted lines. Where have I been? Oh, it's the bright red line. Where am I going? Oh, it's the blue line. Nothing else is going on. Really cool stuff, especially when navigation starts to get a bit kind of tricky. Let's just zoom out because I don't really know what this looks like on an AMOLED screen. So this is a street that you've got here. And you can see, yeah, this is like a whole estate. So that's what buildings are going to look like. And again, it's much more simplified, isn't it? And easier to digest, easier to see where the tracks are that you can follow. So let's scroll across to the city and zoom back in. There we go, there we go. I think high contrast is great. I know not all kind of reviewers were into it, but yeah, please Suunto, keep hold of it because that's fantastic. Yeah, if you need a bit more clarity in your navigation. Now what we've all been waiting for is the winter. So let's go back into the map. Let's zoom out. Oh boy. So we're about to head off skiing with our family, with our pals. Yeah, we've got the winter map. Let's just zoom all the way out so you can see what it looks like at different zoom levels. Let's zoom all the way in, back to our location. This is kind of as fast as I can zoom, and you can see there was like 0 load screens there. So yeah, this is kind of the winter map. Unfortunately, I'm not near mountains to test this and show you, you know, what a winter map would look like at the ski resort. But yeah, you can get the general idea of maybe what a chalet might look like. You've got these buildings here, you've got these grayed out tracks, which are kind of tracks, but if you're skiing, they might not be there. It's all a bit like that. And then you've got like the main roads or the main routes and paths of travel. I do think the winter map is quite sexy actually. But let's go back to the tried and tested light map, which is what we all know and love. And going through the settings of the map here again, you can access it any time. You can be in the maps and just press the bottom button. You're just here, pressing that. There we go. Scrolling through with the dial. Look at that, and I'm getting lovely tactile feedback from the vibrations. We've got details. Let's click details. Okay, so it's going to tell us the current details of whichever route or map that we're following. Again, what's rather great about Suunto, Coros, Garmin, at any point in your activity, remember, we're still in an activity. It's crazy. easy. You can always at any point go back up here, click through and see what your kind of data is, your heart rate, change the music on your phone, do it all, see the distance that we've traveled and the time that we've been shooting the video for, and then get back to your map. So let's go down, back into our settings and change the route, all during our activity, and I can change it to UTS. So Ultra Trail Snowdonia, Penny Fan Horseshoe. I did this recently with Michaela, it was beautiful. So let's go on to points of interest. Now points of interest is where you can navigate to a point of interest. Let's say you rock up in your van, you pitch up your tent and you're about to head off for a massive expedition. You want to save the location of your tent. So you save it, you hike 500 miles like we've just done here, click on where the hell is my tent? And there it is, that's the location of my tent. You've got the coordinates, you've got what the point of interest is called. We've also got the distance to the target. Oh, I'm only 541 meters away. The altitude of the target and the altitude difference, really cool. So there's a 12-meter difference between me and my tent, because there's no point traveling over to my tent if it's, 3,000 meters away and I'm gonna need like ice axe and rope. So that's really cool. So let's navigate to it. So you click that, you click navigate at the top, and let's kind of have a little spin around and see what the map is doing. So what you can see here, the red again is always going to show our breadcrumb trail. What's happened on Suunto now, the reason it looks much more cleaner is that the route that we were originally following to get to that lake over there, you can't see it, but it's just underneath that dip, has been removed, and we're now doing obviously the point of interest navigation. So we have north still, so north is on the watch, but the point of interest is actually going to be now the blue arrow over here. So we can zoom all the way out and actually have a look at where our tent is. Look how cool that is. So the camping tent is, 540 meters away, all the way over there. And we can see the trails and tracks that we need to navigate through to get to that location. So all point of interest will ever be at the minute on Suunto is a kind of basic, bearing navigation. But again, that's really cool. We know how far away we are from our target, and you can kind of estimate the time it's going to take for you to get there. Now, if you want turn-by-turn navigation to your point of interest, you can actually open up the app. You click on, your point of interest and just get navigate to, and you can select the paths, you can customize it and send it to your watch in like a couple of seconds. So there's a kind of basic introduction to points of interest navigation. And what happens as well, when you open up the points of interest navigation, you get this orientating compass automatically load up. So it's really easy for you to always see where your north is and always see where your points of interest is, and you can line up exactly the header. And again, this is awesome on Suunto. Look how accurate that is as I turn my body. There we go, get it right in the bed of the bit there and walk in that direction. What's cool as well, this is the always on display. It's gone into offline mode, and you can see even now I can still see my bearing, I can still see north. It's just the rest of the dials have gone away to save battery life. Flick your wrist, bang, you're back in business. So Suunto have kind of thought of everything here to try and elongate that battery life. But let's go back onto the maps. Click into our settings on the maps, or navigational options as Suunto calls it, and we're just going to scroll through to see what else we've got. So we've done routes, we've done points of interest, we've got find my way back. Let's quickly do that. So when you click find my way back, we've got the bearing user interface load back up again, and again we've got north, and we can see if I just point my body in the right direction again, the way back to where we started this video. But if I click through the options, I should have a way to get to the maps. There we go. Cool, so we've got the maps here as well. Now in find my way back, again, this black kind of dot with the arrow in is my location. This is me as I turn my body. We have two options. We can either go the way we went, which is that red route there, heading off to the left, or we can go in that straight line that you saw just a second ago, straight back to our location. I do think it would be cool though if Suunto gave you the option to leave the line there. I know that line gets plotted quite often and then disappears to obviously clean up the map, but it would be nice to have the option to just leave it there for people who want to have like a direct straight line of travel. But that's also useful if you're kind of navigating to like a start of a map and then you want to know like the quickest way to get there as well. So we're just going to go down into settings again and see what else we've got. So find my way back, bearing navigation. So in bearing navigation, and again, if you want to see this on different watches and how it all compares, I've made a video on the race, the vertical, and now you've got the Suunto Race 2. So you're going to choose a direction that you want to go. So I'm going to choose back over there again, back to the dolphins or the lake over there, point it in the direction of the dolphins, lock my bearing. Do you know the distance? Yeah, I do. What was it? It was about 90 meters to the dolphins. So scroll up to 90 meters, click kilometers, there we go. Altitude difference, a couple of meters. It is maybe 3 meters. Again, what they've left you is 4 digits here. For you kind of crazy people hiking up Everest and going from one peak to the other, that full capacity is there. I'm just gonna turn my body, The bearing is obviously the blue arrow, as always with navigation. Let's zoom out and see what we see on the map. So what we just dropped here was almost like a point of interest, our custom one, or our bearing, and you can see it on the map. So I think that's really useful. Look how close we got from just pointing the map in the direction of the dolphins or the lake and going, yeah, I reckon it's over there about 90 meters, and we've dropped the pinpoint there. And if I go back to my location, we can, yeah, spin our body around and navigate to it. And again, in bearing, you can always go through to your compass. If you need that lock-in and you really need to be super accurate and head towards your direction of travel. So let's check out what other options we have in the maps in the Suunto Race 2. Let's go down. So we've done bearing. You can snap to route. This is pretty useful if you're running through like cities, or if you want your watch to snap to trails. Not something that I'll personally test. We've also got the compass that you can always access during your navigation. So in compass mode, you still have access to your map, but when you click the button on the side, so this middle one here, you're gonna go through to your compass. And the last one is Breadcrumb. So let's click on Breadcrumb. Yeah, so Breadcrumb is obviously the most kind of basic navigation here. And that red line is just the direction that we've come. We started the video over here in the field and we've navigated over to the dolphins. But yeah, that is pretty much everything with navigating during an activity. Let's just go to the bottom and we've got the navigational settings. So the cool thing about navigational settings, with it being a Suunto watch, you've kind of got full reign to do your compass calibration. With Suunto, in my experience, you don't have to calibrate the watch often and it always remains accurate. Maybe every other couple of weeks, maybe a month, you'll have to calibrate your Suunto, usually when you've kind of like left it for a long time. But that's much better than I've seen with some watches that I found, for example, on the Polar, that I was calibrating the compass almost like twice a day. We've got the declination, so if you travel worldwide, you can always change the magnetic north to make sure you're getting accurate navigation. Again, a really powerful and easy to overlook feature. I mean, this is just a simple little setting on the watch, but it could save your life if you get the declination wrong and you're using the compass. You could be going in a complete different direction to what you actually think you are. You've got the compass units, you can switch from degrees to military, and you've also got the formats. This is really useful for people who want to use the British national grid system. We've also got the Finnish, the Irish, the Swedish. This is going to cover most of you guys out there. We've got the map recenter, and you have the option to leave it in manual, so you can scroll and your watch will just stay like that. So say, for example, you are someone who uses that ruler feature a lot, you can put it in manual, use the ruler, and the watch is always just going to stay where you've scrolled it to. And I feel like that's enough. And we've got map download at the bottom, so we can actually download maps now. I mean, I'm not near my Wi-Fi, I'm out in the dark. I'm filming this video for you guys out in the dark, so please give a like, comment, and subscribe. But I don't know if this is just with Suunto Race 2, but you can now download maps from your Wi-Fi without being connected to your charger, as long as you have enough battery life. So that's been really cool that you can just manually activate that. I won't do that yet though, so let's just skip. And that's all your map settings. Before we move on, I also just want to show you the altitude. Obviously, we are in Norfolk at the moment, so this is a route that I've created. It's only a couple 100 meters long, but yeah, to get to altitude, you've got like your climb guidance. So this is Suunto's version of ClimbPro, where you can zoom in and out and see like the overall altitude of the route. What we'll do, actually, let's load up UTS. Let me show you some mountains. Scroll through to route, select UTS Suunto. So this is a race I did. You can watch my vlog on the channel. 100 miles through North Wales, click navigate, look at this. North Wales. So this is what it's going to look like. And when you're on these climbs, you'll be able to zoom into them and see each individual climb as you're going up these crazy 1,000 meter mountains. Very similar to ClimbPro. This is called Climb Guidance, I believe. And yeah, something that I've used a lot in races. It's really useful for you just to kind of pace yourself and know how far you've got until you get to, the top of your climb. So let's stop this activity and click the top. When you click the top, it's going to give you the option to pause or play. You press pause, or sorry, stop. And then you've got, your control panel. So you can actually mid-activity, and you guys might not know this, but mid-activity, lock your screen. So there's me moaning about the rain, moving the screen about. You can actually lock it. You can always, at any point, change the Suunto Plus apps that you're playing. Display, at any point, change the brightness. It's getting a bit dark. I might actually knock this into low because the camera is struggling a little bit. And the always on display, if you're like, oh, actually, I'm running out of battery life, you can turn it off and on again during activity. The race awake mode, I don't know, you've got race awake and display only and off. So that's during the activity. Battery mode, we've got it in performance. I like on Suunto, obviously it's going to tell you the hours, so we're going to get 38 hours more out of the watch, and this is the best GPS performance, and I've seen good performance. I know a lot of people like to jump on the bandwagon. I've heard a few things about the GPS on this watch, but I've only seen good results so far, but I do need to take this into the mountains and really put it to the test. We've got Endurance, Ultra and Tour, where you can use the GPS and get 144 hours of battery life. Climb guidance is on, and we get the percent, or we can get the degrees, so that's really useful. Intervals you can turn on, you can create your own intervals during the activity, so duration, repeats, intervals you can turn on, targets, and yeah, we're starting to lose the plot here, aren't we? We've got flashlight, hang on, I think this is pretty useful for you guys, and look how dark it's made the screen go, but that can be useful if you are out camping, or I don't know, your head torch breaks, you need to change the batteries in your head torch, your mid-activity, put the watch into flashlight mode, and yeah, find the batteries. We've got the notifications, so always you can check the notifications during your activity, and we've got do not disturb, so my watch has been going crazy recently with all the notifications coming through, and if that starts to annoy you during your activity, you can pause and just turn off your notifications. And we've got voice feedback, which I'm going to leave off, and media controls for your Spotify on your phone. Anyway, let's end the activity, click end. How was it? Excellent. Just wait for Suunto to load. It was just a quick walk I did. And you'll be able to see when you finish your event, obviously the pace that you've done, and you've got loads of different graphs that you can scroll through, the power, we've got the heart rate here. Filming the video for you guys, 65 to 100 beats per minute, walking around the forest in the dark. And then we go zone 1. You can change that as well. Here we go. Look, clicking onto the graphs. But yeah, I mean, it's a walk that I did. Cool, so we're gonna go back to the watch face, and I'm gonna show you some other things that I guess are related to navigation. So let's just scroll through, and we've got sunrise and sunset, and the sun went down about half an hour ago, which I think you would agree in this video is quite accurate. And you've got the moon here and the moon phase. You can scroll through all of this stuff here. So again, just little things that might help you with your navigation. You've got the weather, so we're currently in Thetford in Norfolk. You've got the wind speed, the wind direction, the temperature, the highs and the lows, which is 22 and 12 degrees Celsius, and the current temperature, which is 19. Clear sky, I'm looking up into the sky and can tell you that is accurate. You've got the forecast here as well, so this is throughout the hours, and then we can keep on going for feels like temperature. Humidity, we've also got the probability of precipitation, we've got the wind gust, I guess, to 0 if it's blank like that, air quality as well. So that's the weather there for you guys, the altitude and barometer. And I really like it because of one special feature. So I'm going to show you this. So you can see the altitude, we're currently at 23 meters. Again, we're in one of the flattest parts of the country. Tell me about it. It's so hard to train for ultramarathon. We've got the barometer here. You can see the pressure dropping over the past 12 hours. Again, really good for mountain navigation or people who are kind of nerds about weather and planning hikes. So you can make sure you don't, run into any storms with the barometer. And we've also got, and Coros have removed this recently. I don't know why, because it's so useful. The watch temperature sensor. So yes, it is 19 degrees at the minute, but the watch is experiencing 23 degrees. And that's because the watch is obviously on my wrist, but it's also outside in 19 degrees, so that's what it's experiencing. Now, why is this really useful? And Suunto should not only keep it, but they should improve it by turning it into a graphed plot, because we deserve a plot here, and I do know that Garmin are doing it, Amazfit are doing it. Yeah, a plot of the temperature over time would be pretty useful. I like it personally for going to the sauna and also using the ice bath, where you're going to get super accurate sensor temperature readings. Yeah, again, for lake swimming, ice bath, I just love being able to check the water temperature. I think people who are really into mountain navigation, for example in the winter, would value having a graph of 12 hours where they can see the change of temperature over time, because again, you can take this watch off, leave it outside your tent and collect data. And the weather that you're experiencing, so yes, it's 19 degrees in Thetford, might not be the weather that you're going to get at the top of like Everest. So it's really useful to have the sensor temperature, which you compare with the barometer and the altitude to have more accurate kind of like local weather readings. Really cool stuff. Let's just scroll through. We've got sleep, we've got compass. I mean, I've showed you a million times what the compass does, but yeah, you can access the compass outside of an activity by going through the widgets. I think that's everything. And I guess just scrolling quickly through the activities, and I do have a full review of this watch on the channel, so check that out. Yeah, trail running, swimming, pool swimming. You can navigate in, I believe, all of these activities. But yeah, we've got the kind of mountaineering. Let's go through to some of the skiing stuff, because we've got these winter maps, which I think is really cool. Keep on scrolling. I mean, it's crazy. We've got yoga, climbing, horseback riding, paragliding. Look at that. We're coming for you, Coros Nomad. But yeah, alpine skiing, snowboarding, cross country, classic skiing. Look, if there's an activity that you do, chances are Suunto have got you covered. There are so many activity modes. We've got kayaking, stand-up paddleboarding, mermaiding, snorkeling, basketball. Let's keep on going. And all of these activities that you can, I guess, navigate in if you want to. But you can also create, oh, look at this, chores at the top. They did that for a reason, didn't they? So you can calculate how much time you spent hoovering and cooking dinner. You can also make custom sports on the app and like design them yourself. So if what you saw wasn't here, maybe you want to create a sport called shopping. You can do that, and obviously that would show up in here, and you can navigate with it. So yeah, that's all the options. So I hope you enjoyed the navigational video with the Suunto Race 2. I did plan to basically compare this to the T-Rex 3, the Coros Pace Pro, and on my wrist the Garmin Forerunner 970. But to be honest, as you can see, it's got so dark out here. But if you have any questions about how the Suunto Race 2 compares to these watches in terms of maps and navigation, leave a comment down below. I can spoil it for you and just say that the navigation on Suunto is fantastic. They don't have offline routable maps, for example, what you're getting on Garmin, but you do have industry leading, and I mean it when I say it, the compass. When you turn your body in that map turns, when you're out in the mountains and doing like really cool adventures and races, Suunto for me has been the best to use for that kind of stuff. So you've got lots of advantages with going with Suunto, and as I showed you in this video, and why the video is so long, you have like loads of maps and navigational options. So you can change like the theme of your map, and it's really easy and quick to do mid-activity. So I think there's some of the advantages with going with the Race 2. Any questions down below? I've been Kingsley from Active Ideas, and peace out.